Good evening, guys. A warm welcome to the program on transport management. Now, transportation is a integral managed part of a supply chain management, and it is no more a part of logistic because all the professionals at various level are expected to handle transportation at some part of a time. And now how efficiently you are managing transportation defines your supply chain performance. In fact, nowadays you know that the power of supply chain is getting shifted from manufacturing to retailing. So in the retailing, transportation plays a vital role. In the current scenario, we are keep talking about q-commerce, where the transportation plays a major role in delivering the item within 30 minutes or so. So we need to understand what are the methods in which item can be moved in a better and efficient way, so that a positive impact can be there on the supply chain. Let me display the screen. Give me a few seconds so that I can display the screen. So we will go into some of the introductory aspects on transportation management. In fact, we have a 10-hour self-paced program on this topic. If anyone is interested to know more, you can visit our website. Here, I am going to give a brief introduction about this topic. In fact, I have selected few slides from our original program to give an overview about transportation management. Before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Pattabhiraman. This is my LinkedIn profile. If you are not connected, you are welcome to connect or follow me. As far as my background is concerned, I am an engineer with a PG degree in management as well as data science. I have worked nearly 2.5 decades in this global corporation. I have started my career in Bosch as a planning function for nearly 16 years. I have worked in the Bosch organization, and subsequently I have moved to various other organizations. And during my career, I have handled different subdomains in the supply chain management, as you see here. And I was heading the supply chain for nearly 10 years in my career. So I have handled end-to-end supply chain management. Currently, I am CEO of the organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. As far as certification is concerned, you should be familiar if you are in supply chain about certifications from AACM or APIX, especially what is related to logistic and transportation, could be CLTD. This is certified in logistic, transportation, and distribution. And if you are in job market, maybe you should look for any of this globally recognized certification, so you get a better opportunity for either getting an interview or being getting selected in corporate organization. Maybe these are not so much essential if you are looking for a job in medium size or local organization, but if you are looking for a good paying job in a multinational company, then you should target these type of certification. One more parallel organization is known as Demand Driven Institute. They also provide similar certification. I am also a certified purchasing manager and project management professional, apart from being qualified in analytics. Coming to Thoughtware Training Private Limited, this is the organization established in Bangalore 4 years back. I am heading this organization. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain, logistic, and purchasing. We operate under the trade name Expert SEM. Now, coming to the subject, hope those who are on LinkedIn Live, you are able to hear me and see the screen. Is my voice clear? Transportation is a critical link in the supply chain, and you need to know whether we are talking about a local distribution or the transportation in the international trade. The way in which it is handled in these two cases can be different. So we need to segment these areas. And of course there are various modes of transportation. Even if you take road, nowadays, truck, minivans, bikes, and even cycles are used in the last mile delivery operation. Whereas for a long distance, it could be rail or air or sea, which are being traditionally used in international transportation or trade. When it comes to gaseous or liquid transportation, pipeline serves as a basic mode. Coming to the transportation profile, it is one of the glue that holds the supply chain together, and forces driving the change could include globalization, technology, integration, consolidation, consumer empowerment, on government regulation and policy. But the modern customer requirement is so much changing that everything in which we were approaching is changing rapidly. Customer is looking for rapid delivery, smaller and more frequent shipment, especially in the local distribution by the retailer or e-commerce platform. So the transportation format is changing rapidly now, and supply chains are becoming transport driven as opposed to demand driven, which was there a few years back. Coming to economics of transportation, the requirement is changing so more quickly and becoming more complex because of dynamic global environment. And we have to take care of many things apart from the cost, like things like global competition, infrastructure availability, special interest group, sustainability, energy cost. All this matters when we handle the transportation, affects the economic well-being, their safety, their access to other people, places, and quality of their environment. Okay, the goods we consume, our economic livelihood, our mobility, and our environment is entertainment are all impacted by transportation, and plays an important role in helping the bridge the supply and demand gap inherent in mass production approach. Okay, even now most of the organization are make to stock mass production strategy, and there is always a gap between demand and supply, and transportation and warehousing bridge that gap. And they also play a key role in international and global dependency. An individual decision about where to work, live, and play are influenced by transportation in today's environment. And prime ingredient for increased passenger travel is economical transportation system. It could be anything. It could be a public mobility or even private vehicle. But what we see in our program is more related to cargo movement, and especially in the retailer environment. Okay, coming to transportation measurement units, especially it is defined in the terms of ton miles or ton kilometer. That's how the unit is used in transportation. For example, you can see 200 ton miles could be a movement of 200 tons for 1 mile, or 100 tons for 2 miles, or it could be 1 ton for 200 miles. But general classification measurement unit is generally ton kilometer or ton mile is the terminology we use. Coming to transportation technology, hidden assets can be a big challenge. New technologies have helped to solve real time visibility problem. Like we know in transportation, we use TMS, RFID, GPS, now IoT, and so many other technologies are coming to the rescue. Recently, blockchain technology is also being used in the transportation. And as far as elasticity is concerned, you may be aware about the law of elasticity. As the price comes down, the demand may increase on the inverse. When the price goes up, the demand may come down. Such of the products or services is known to be elastic, but when it comes to transportation, it is more of inelastic, because even with the change in price, the demand doesn't change much, because it is one of the basic need in the supply chain, and it is mostly not influenced by any pricing system. Coming to the service component of freight, demand includes transit time, reliability of transportation, accessibility, capability, and security of the items. There are also now growing requirement in terms of special freight requirement. Many of the perishable goods or pharmaceutical goods require climatic control while moving. So this also requires a supply chain professional to have additional knowledge on how to manage the energy requirement. Okay, also there are instances where large cargo movement are involved. Maybe you are watching either in news channel or YouTube how the large consignment are being transported from one place to other place. So this additional knowledge is also required. Coming to logistic network, the logistic or transportation can be at any part, any leg of the supply chain. When we talk about supply chain, it is converting raw material to finished product, and finished product reaching the customer. In between, there could be multiple channels or agents involved in converting the product, also moving the product from one place to another place. Of course, the movement inside the plant is not called transportation, that's called material handling. The transportation comes into play only when item is getting moved outside the plant. So you can see the complexity of the network is so large. Now you need to analyze in terms of network analysis. Okay, even if it is a local, you should know how much the transportation is going to influence in the overall network design in terms of cost, time, and efficiency. And challenges are growing day by day. The challenges in supply chain is growing because there is a lot of pressure on the ports, congestion on highways, shortage of drivers. Shortage of driver is one more critical thing even in India, because the millennial does not want to take driving as a profession, and there is a huge shortage of drivers. And the container is also becoming a problem now. Due to balance of trade, most of the containers are going one side to US or Europe. On the other side, the import from the Asian countries have come down drastically. So now the challenge is how to get the export container. The costs are rapidly growing, and it is a big challenge in transportation, especially the ocean transport. And focus is on green supply chain, which is increasing now, which also means reverse logistic is gaining lot of importance. Coming to transportation profile, need for government investment in maintaining infrastructure. Maybe you might have observed, compared to last 5 years, 10 years, India has a better infrastructure in terms of ports or highway availability, but still it is not catched up to the growth which is required in the business segment. Overall economy will become the beneficiary if we are able to improve transportation and related infrastructure form of a social capital. Okay, when you improve the infrastructure, transportation increases, which indirectly the beneficiaries are new business, higher wages, and more jobs. Coming to historical significance, growth of civilization is directly associated with the development of transportation system. Earlier, route was very popular in international trade, and various form of movement on the land happened, and we were using transport in one or the other form. You can see the even before 2000, 3000 years, especially if you take Egypt, it has demonstrated how people were able to move such a huge weight and also move it to a higher location. Okay, so apart from that, transportation also played a major role in national defense. But when coming to our supply chain and economic support, it has become a life support for supply chain. Apart from being to the support to the citizens, transportation always adds value to the goods which is being shipped. Mainly we talk about supply chain or logistic or transportation in terms of place utility. Okay, item produced at one location but demand may be at some other location, so the value of item at the point of origin will be less, and when it is moved to the point of demand, its value is going to increase. That's where transportation is going to support on place utility. Okay, coming to food miles, this is one factor which contributes to green supply chain. Maybe if you take an example of having what are the items in your dinner plate and where are these items coming, if you can calculate how many kilometers it is taking to reach your dinner table, you may be surprised. That is what is called food miles. There are a lot of researches made. Now if you want to preserve your environment, you have to see how to localize the requirement, minimize the movement, or move the things more economically and efficiently. And transportation also improves the time utility. The demand for particular commodity may exist only for during a certain period of time, so you should be in a position to move the item within the required time. And also quantity utility, it is achieved through the assurance that the goods will arrive without damage in the right quantity. Okay, coming to how much is the transportation cost in terms of DDP. Of course, better data is available for US, and some relative data is available in India also. You can see roughly 10% is going towards transportation in US economy. 10% of GDP is spent towards transportation. Of course, this could be a higher figure in Indian context. Okay, now the growing significance is related to environment. How you are going to minimize the impact. When we talk of transportation, it could be fuel emission or consumption of fuel and related aspect. How you will be able to manage could affect the future of supply chain. That's where the concept of green supply chain has come to play. This can play a major role in terms of air quality and acid rain, ozone reduction. So, in future, the part of managing sustainability could be part of supply chain professionals' job. Now, it could be a voluntary activity. Maybe in the future, it may become a compliance requirement, so let us be prepared to do it. Apart from this, safety in transportation is one area which requires more attention. And coming to modern transportation, the trend is the transportation market, transportation supply, operation and management, government policies and regulation. All these are to be understood if we have to manage the transportation. Especially everything is focused towards customer wants a faster delivery, maybe frequent delivery, small item delivery with a lower cost, and also now additionally green supply chain. How do you minimize the pollution? It could be in terms of fuel emission or energy consumption or noise making, how you are able to do. So here I try to give a minimum introduction regarding our program on transportation management. If you need more clarification, you can either visit our site. We have both live as well as self-paced program available. You can also reach us through this WhatsApp number if you need any doubts or clarification. And thanks for attending. You are always welcome to reach out to me or our staff. You have seen the WhatsApp number. Of course, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel where all this recording is available, and more than 50 or 60 videos on different topics in supply chain is covered there. And you are always welcome to reach to me. Thanks for attending, either you are watching this live or at a different point of a time. Have a nice day and all the best for your career. Bye.